Hello ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Raw here, nice to see you. Yes it is, so in today's video we're going to be discussing Gigantamax Flapple. Now Gigantamax Flapple is an interesting Pokemon, that is for sure. Firstly, let's have a look at its weaknesses. So it resists water, which is a very common offensive typing, as well as electric. It's weak to ice, weak to poison, weak to flying, weak to bug, dragon, and fairy. So they're quite some notable weaknesses there. Ice type moves are fairly common coverage, as well as flying because of max airstream. And we all know dragon and fairy are very popular typings as well. Right, in terms of abilities, it does have Ripen, which is Flapple's and Appleton's signature ability. And now this doubles the effects of held berries, which in theory is a pretty good ability, to be honest with you. It's also got Gluttony. This will use a berry when its hit points are below 50%. Again, on a very good ability as well. We all know how that works with Belly Drum Snorlax. Now, the ability what makes it stand out more than anything is Hustle. Damage from physical attacks is increased by 50%, but the average accuracy is only 80%. Now, max moves cannot miss, which means Hustle is a great ability for Gigantamax Flapple. The only real issue with Flapple, though, is what I've discovered, is that its coverage is extremely bad. Let's have a look at some notable moves. So it has Recycle. It's got Protect there, very standard. Acrobatics, Leech Seed, Dragon Dance. It's got a signature move, Grave Apple. The user inflicts damage by dropping an apple from high above. This also lowers the target's defense stat. Fly, max airstream, Dragon Rush. As far as I'm aware, it does not have Dragon Claw. I believe Outrage and Dragon Rush is only physical dragon type moves. Which are bad outside of Dynamax, especially with Hustle. Sunny Day, U-Turn, not very useful here. Air Slash, there's Outrage. It's got Seed Bomb, but there's no point in Seed Bomb really. Energy Ball, Heavy Slam. Egg moves, so we've got Sucker Punch there. We've got Roll Out, which is no real use. My issue is Flapple's that there's no high horsepower here, or anything like that, which really does let it down quite a bit. Right, let's have a look at stats. So in terms of stats, it's got 485 base total, 70 HP, 110 attack. 110 attack is pretty decent. 80 defense, 95 special attack, 60 special defense, and 70 speed. Looking at these stats, the real issue here is it's very frail on the special. 70 base speed is not very fast for a Pokemon that has Hustle. We all know how popular Durant is, and it's got that pretty good base speed as well at 109. Even you know, Dragazole has 75 base speed. It's got more solid stats in general. It's got better typing, I would say, as well, and much better coverage. But yeah, Flapple just lacks that coverage. Maybe Move Tutors can bring something to it, I don't know. G-Max Tartness is its signature G-Max move, a grass type attack like Gigantamax Flapple use. Now this move reduces the opponent's evasionness, which means your moves are more likely to hit. So if your Flapple is still alive once Gigantamax ends, and if those two Pokemon that you've been using G-Max Tartness on are still on the field, then you'll be able to hit them much more reliably. After a -2, I think you're probably going to hit all the time. Probably guaranteed hit by then. The only problem is, though, you know, is them Pokemon still being there, them switching out. You only have 3 turns. Do you always want to be using G-Max Tartness? Probably not. I mean, there's a lot of flaws in this Pokemon, to be honest with you. I like the concept, though. I like the fact that there's it's got a split evolution, but they share the same Gigantamax with different moves and stats. I like the concept. Right, so I did try to build some sets for G-Max Flapple, so we're going to go over to Pokemon Showdown now, and we'll have a look at that. Right, so firstly, it's a very standard Life Orb G-Max Flapple. It has Grave Apple, Outrage, Fly, and Protect. Very standard here. Hustle is the ability of choice. Deal as much damage as possible. Max moves cannot miss. And Life Orb just really gives it that nice boost there. Fly obviously turns into Max Airstream. Outrage is the strongest Max Dragon move it can get. You could go for Dragon Rush though if you was worried about obviously using this outside of Dynamax or Gigantamax, sorry, because Outrage, I believe you can't pick your target. It will use it randomly, which means if there's a fairy on the field, it won't affect them. You just basically wasted a turn. Dragon Rush, I believe, only has something like 75% accuracy. With Hustle as well, you know, there's probably like 50% chance of it hitting, which does suck, but it's probably more reliable than Outrage, I would have thought. Fly's Max Airstream, as I said. Grave Apple turns into G-Max Tartness, which is its signature move. In terms of Protect, is probably the best 4-star option, though you could go with, say, Heavy Slam. Gives you access to Max Steel Spike, which means you can really nail those fairy types extremely hard, because Max Steel Spike is going to hurt them. Heavy Slam, I believe, turns into 130 base Max Steel Spike, which is really nice. Personally, actually, I'd probably go for Heavy Slam over Protect. Get as much coverage and damage output as possible with G-Max Flapple over here. Right, in terms of spread, I've gone with an Adamant Nature, max attack. 236 speed EVs will allow you to outspeed base 110s after a max Airstream, which is pretty nice, and the rest is just in HP. You could run Jolly and max speed. I personally didn't think you was really outspeeding much. With this spread, you still outspeed most base 60, or you still outspeed minimum base 60s as well as like minimum base 65s, I believe. So you're really nice and safe here. I think with Flapple, you're going to be wanting to get as much damage output as possible personally. So I really wasn't worried about its medical base 70 speed, and I'd go for the Adamant Nature. But Jolly is an option. Yeah, so it's pretty standard, to be honest with you, and nice and simple. Right, second set, I did decide that it's worth maybe trying to make a set for its signature ability, Ripen. And in terms of Ripen, I've actually gone for the special Flapple, just because it means you're no longer weakened by Intimidate users. You know, you don't have to worry about those. Now, Ripen doubles the effects of held berries. Now, the Pitaya Berry actually increases your special stack by 1 stage when your HP is at 1/4 below max HP or less, which means instead of getting a +1 special attack boost, you're actually going to get a +2. Of course, you could change this for any berry, though. You could change it for a berry that increases speed. It's entirely up to you. You could also add Gluttony as well if you wanted to only rely on the +1. You could also do that. In terms of moves, though, we've got Energy Ball, which you could also put Solar Beam, it'd be stronger. You could also put Giga Drain if you wanted to. We've got Draco Meter here, a very strong Dragon type move outside of Dynamax and inside of it. Air Slash is for that speed control, so you can still use that max Airstream there. I don't think it had any more notable special type moves. We'll have a quick look. I don't think it did, though, as far as I'm aware. Max Ooze, but it's only got 70 base power. It's probably not worth it, to be honest with you. Yeah, so it's pretty much that. Right. So going back to it, as well, you could also actually add Recycle, I think, over Protect if you wanted to, because Recycle will turn into Max Guard when you are maxed. And this does give you that really, really niche option of recycling your berry when your Dynamax is ended. If you wanted to, you could add a Pinch Berry, Citrus Berry, whatever you wanted. It is entirely up to you. Personally, I think this set is way outclassed by the Hustle set, personally. But its EV spread is running exactly the same. We've got a Modest Nature instead of Adamant. Exactly the same EV spread there. Another thing I forgot to mention, Flapple does actually learn Sucker Punch as well. Personally, though, I don't think you have room for Sucker Punch on Flapple's moveset, unfortunately. I think these moves are much more important, especially as this video is about Gigantamax Flapple and not just regular Flapple in general. Now, in terms of partners, I think Milotic is a very important partner here for a few reasons. One, it scares off Intimidate users with its competitive ability. It also has a couple moves that benefit off Flapple's G-Max Tartness that lowers evasion. It means Hypnosis increases in accuracy, which is really nice. And Muddy Water also increases in accuracy, because Muddy Water is not a fully accurate move. So you do have to bear that in mind. Right, you could also add Icy Wind here if you wanted more speed control. And you could probably put Coil somewhere as well. Personally, though, this is the moveset I went with. I thought this is pretty nice. In terms of EV spread, it's nice and physically bulky. It's got enough, it's got 52 speed EVs. I'm trying to remember what these 52 speed EVs do. I believe they outspeed base 95s after a +1, so such as Arcanine. I think it probably speed ties with who is it? Mimikyu as well. I am just going to double check real quick, but I'm pretty sure that's why I put 52 in there. So it does outspeed base 95s after a +1 from Flapple's Max Airstream. But let's have a look real quick. Yes, I believe it does. Right. Okay, so yeah, that should speed time Mimikyu after a +1. But it's nice and physically defensive. It's there to support Flapple. I think it's quite a nice addition to Flapple there. A second partner here is Clefairy. Nice, bulky, EV-like Clefairy once again. Flapple is pretty frail, so Friend Guard does support it quite nicely. Follow Me is also really nice. It gives Flapple more safety. If you are running a Follow Me user on the physical set, you could maybe squeeze in Dragon Dance there over Fly or Heavy Slam, for example, because you'd be getting your +1 speed from Dragon Dance. So where's Dragon Dance? There it is. So you could do a Dragon Dance. You could Follow Me if Clefairy, run Dragon Dance, then Gigantamax Flapple. You could put Heavy Slam over Fly, or you could also put Sucker Punch if you wanted Max Darkness. Personally, I think Max Airstream probably supports your team quite nicely, so I'd go with that. Dragon Dance would also turn into Max Guard as well. Helping Hand here really does support Flapple as well with that damage output. Hustle plus Life Orb, plus being Gigantamax, plus Helping Hand. You're really dealing a boatload of damage now, which is really nice. Sing is only 55% accuracy, which means Clefairy will be benefiting from that evasion drop from G-Max Tartness. If you wasn't in a position to go for a Max Airstream, Icy Wind on Clefairy here is some nice speed control, and it stops you from being Taunt Paint as well. It's a very standard set here, mixed bulky. Clefairy, you could run it however you like. Right, for another partner, we've got, I really like this partner actually, is Focus Sash Gengar. Very simple set. It's got Focus Sash, max speed and special attack. Gengar actually has a really nice supportive move for Flapple. You could add Taunt to shut down Trick Room. You could put Trick Room on Gengar to reverse Trick Room. You could also do Trick Room Imprison, which is really nice. Personally, though, I've put Taunt and Hypnosis. Hypnosis benefits from the evasion drop off from Flapple's G-Max Tartness. Taunt does prevent them from setting up Trick Rooms. If you didn't want to put Shadow Ball, you could put Icy Wind for speed control. Where is Icy Wind? Icy Wind. There it is. Because Gengar is 110 base speed, for example, you could max Flapple, go for a G-Max Tartness plus an Icy Wind after their speed has dropped, or you could go for a Icy Wind, go for a Max Air, you go for like a Taunt, go for Max Airstream. Now you outspeed Gengar, you can go for a G-Max Tartness, then go for a Hypnosis with Gengar after you taunted their Trick Roomers. There's lots of options with Gengar. It has a really nice supportive move set, and it's extremely fast. Sludge Bomb is very important for those fairy types that do threaten Flapple, so I strongly recommend keeping Sludge Bomb. But there is a handful of Pokemon that learn moves like Hypnosis and moves that have lower accuracy. So there's a lot of Pokemon that do benefit off G-Max Tartness. The only problem is, using your Gigantamax or Dynamax option on Flapple, honestly, is not a great idea. It doesn't have very good coverage. It's really let down by its move pool. Even Appleton, it learns moves like High Horsepower. you know, a bunch of moves that Flapple would have really liked, you know. But, you know, it is what it is. You can use Gmax Flapple, and you definitely can make it work. Right, let's go over to Piccoletics here. I did have a look on Babrid on there, but there is no usage of Flapple being on any teams, unfortunately. The four most commonest moves are Grave Apple, Protect, Fly, and Dragon Rush, followed by Sucker Punch there. Heavy Slam is down there as well. Obviously, this is very up to date because nobody's using Flapple. In terms of partners, we've got Milotic, Primarina, and Clefairy there. And the EV spreads are also very simple. Everyone's got Life Orb, very standard. I did expect that, to be honest with you. We've also got most people are running either Adamant or Jolly with max speed and attack. Again, very, very simple. You've probably not got many others there. I wouldn't have thought, no. Couple of naives, but I don't think you're worth going with a mixed set personally. Yeah, so personally, this is my favourite set with Heavy Slam. Does help nail down those fairy types. But I think that's pretty much all we can say about Flapple. I like the concept of Flapple. Unfortunately, its stats are just not very great. It's not very fast. It does rely on that speed control. It doesn't have a huge move pool to really abuse with that hustle either. Unlike other hustle users such as Duran and Drakazol, which is unfortunate, but it is what it is. It's a pretty cool looking Pokemon though. It's definitely a fan favorite. People do like Flapple and Appleton. Yeah, but I think that's pretty much all we can say about it, to be honest with you. If you found any other ways to use Gmax Flapple, or if you've tried using it, let me know in the comment section down below. If this video is helpful to you, let me know. If you enjoyed it, give it a like. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do consider subscribing. It does help me out a lot. But yes, thank you very much everyone for watching the video though, and I will see you all later. Rob out.